Welcome. Good evening. In the comments, when you come in, just say hello. Like, this is dark. Might turn another light on because I feel like this is dark. Yeah, it's dark. Is that better? Yeah. It's better. Okay. Yeah, that's a little better. It's not as grainy. Hello. How are y'all doing? When you come in, just say hey. How you doing? How are you this evening? Lean on this. Yeah. Hello, just waiting for a few more people. You come in, say hello. How you doing? What's up? Also sure how your day was. How's your Monday going? My Monday was pretty cool. It was very calm. A tiny bit busy with meetings, but it was pretty calm. The sun was out. What? How was your Monday? Okay, let me stop picking at my hair. How was your Monday? These are very interactive lives, so I love when people comment, comments, leave hearts, all that stuff. I should do icebreakers for these when I get on. Start with the icebreaker. Don't think about that. Okay, we're just gonna wait for maybe 1 more minute or so to give people time to get on, get their notification, and then we'll start. If you saw my Instagram story I posted a couple hours ago, then part of one of the stories I'm going to share today. That's the more funny one. Well, it's funny to me looking back. It wasn't funny when I was going through it, but it's funny now. You hate Mondays? Oh, why do you hate Mondays? I feel like Mondays can go either way, honestly. Mondays can go either way. I try to prepare Sunday for Monday. I try to get rest on Sunday, chill on Sunday, so that I ease into Monday, and it's been working pretty good. I like to ease into Monday. Why do you hate Mondays? This is why I have no hair right here and no hair right here, because I just do like this all day. Blame ADHD for that. I need to stop. But that's also why I'm putting knotless braids in my hair. Well, I'm not doing it, but I'm getting braids in my hair so that I can stop picking at least for 3 months or something, because I'm trying to grow my hair out. And if I keep picking at it, it's not going to grow or it's going to be patchy. So I need my fidget spinner toy. I have a fidget toy. I need that. Yeah. I wish the weekend was longer too. But working remote on Fridays helps, because I can start the weekend on Friday, start getting stuff together on Friday during the day, or make appointments or whatever. That's my free day. And I start doing stuff for the weekend on Friday, or start preparing for the weekend on Friday. So working remote on Fridays helps me with that. Okay, so let's get started. We'll let more and more people get in or watch the replay. So we are back again on another Monday. This is the second video to my I Survived series, and I basically came up with this IG series for a couple of reasons. I wanted to start sharing my personal stories more. I realized I just have so many stories and so many situations that I've gone through that I think can be relatable. to a lot of people. So I just wanted to start sharing my stories more to since I'm building a platform of encouragement and godly womanhood, really trying to teach women how to thrive in their godly womanhood. So I just decided to start sharing more of my personal stories to help others. The second reason why I'm doing this is because it is leading up to the launch of my monthly Bible study series that will be monthly Bible study that will take place on Monday evenings in my personal Facebook group. So this summer I hosted a 6-week Bible study, and afterwards a lot of the women, how do I take these off? A lot of the women were saying that they want to continue studying together. So I said, hey, you know what? Let's make it a monthly thing because it's a little busy. So let's meet monthly and let's do it on Facebook. So these Instagram series are videos that will lead up to the launch of my monthly Bible study series on October 24th. I will leave the link to that private Facebook group in the caption for this. So when you're rewatching it, you'll be able to click on the link and join the Facebook group. So, yeah, was that it? Yep. So, this week we're talking about how I survived a broken heart. Multiple broken hearts. I really have gone through a lot of different scenarios in dating. I started dating, unfortunately, at a very young age. I wouldn't even call it dating. When I was doing in high school, I was exposed to just sex and relationships way too soon. I wish I would have waited way too soon. So, and I started using sex to try and fill the void of me being adopted and having abandonment issues. And that was just super unhealthy. So I've gone through a lot of different dating scenarios, different situations with guys, and I've learned some things, you know. I've learned a lot of things, and I am blessed to have made it to the other side without any long-lasting effects, to the point where I've been able to make better decisions and become married. So I just thought that would be good, something good to share and to help other young women, because I see so many different hot takes on dating and marriage that are just so incorrect, and people have a lot of things to say, but the actions that we're seeing in our communities are not reflective of all the talk that people have to say. So what I mean by that is that a lot of people talk about having healthy relationships and all this and that on social media and all these requirements and standards, but we see so many broken relationships in our community. We see so much unhealthy toxicness in the celebrities that we worship and look up to, that I just wanted to share my stories and actually give helpful encouragement, because I was able to make it through terrible relationships, and now I am in my most healthiest relationship to date, my only long-lasting relationship, my only marriage. So yeah, we're just gonna talk about it tonight. So like I said, just a couple of minutes ago, I started dating in high school, and I'll say interacting with guys in high school, and it was just very unhealthy. So I'm not even going to talk about high school. Like that's just crazy. Let's go to college. So I actually talked a little bit about this story in my Instagram stories. So my first real bad heartbreak, I'll say, as an adult, was when I was 17. I was in college. I went away to Ohio University for my freshman year. And I don't even know how I met this guy. I was trying to remember, like, where did I meet him at? It was probably at a party. Oh, no. I do know where I met him at. It was at the Q House. Wow. And that was our first week. It was like our first weekend. I met him at the Q House. Number one, you know what, I ain't even gonna go there because, you know, I got some friends at some Qs and I love them. But yeah, I met him at the Q House, and he was like a junior, so he was like either 21 or 22, like I said in the story, because he can drink. He was able to go to the bars and stuff and not have to have a fake ID like us illegals. So met him there. I don't know what happened. Somehow I progressed and we started dating, messing around, kicking it, whatever. So I am the type, I've always been a lover girl. I tried to be a savage in high school and it just did not work. I've always been a lover girl. I'm always like, oh, can you be my boyfriend? Like, let's be in a relationship, just me and you. Like, I do not do well with trying to be a savage or a hot girl. Just not me. My heart's too big. I'm too emotional. Just don't work. So I also try to be the go along with the flow type of girl. We're going to talk about that because just don't do it if you don't want to. So anyway, we'll get to that in our my encouragement section. But yeah, I always was the let's be in a relationship. So any guy I talk to, I'm like, okay, we're going to be together, blah, blah, blah. Now this guy, he told me like, hey, like we're not doing that. You know, I mean, understandable, we're in college, like we're not doing that. So I think he had just got out of a relationship or something. I can't remember. But anyway, I was like, okay. But in my mind, you know how us immature, when we're immature with women, we're like, okay, well, maybe he's saying that, but once he gets with me, that'll change. It don't change. And you don't try to make it change. Just don't do it. But I was like, oh, he'll change. He'll see me. I'm a new girl. Like, stop. And so we started to just kick it, but we kicked it a lot. Like, it wasn't just, oh, let me call you at 2:00 when the party over. I mean, it was that too, but we kicked it pretty much every single day. Honestly, I would either be at his apartment or he would be at my dorm. So, I mean, I thought we were, being exclusive. So he would tell me constantly, like, no, we're not, blah, blah, blah. And so I remember this one time, I don't know what happened, but basically I got into a Twitter feud and a Twitter war to the point where I literally ended up having to delete my Twitter because of my antics in college. Just ridiculous. So somehow this other freshman girl either liked him or they were talking or they were flirting or something. And this girl got on Twitter. I don't remember what happened, but we used to subtweet. I don't know if people still do that because I don't do that actually on Twitter. But when subtweeting was like really spicy on Twitter, this was when Twitter first came out. This was like 2011 or 12. Subtweeting, I feel like she subtweeted me, and she did subtweet me, or I subtweeted her. Who knows? I was petty back then. But somehow we started subtweeting each other and just talking about this guy or going back and forth about this guy, just being super petty, super freshman. And so he ended up calling me like, what are you doing? Like, just not cussing me out literally, but like, what are you doing? Like, you need to chill. Like, it's not even like blah, blah, blah. So I didn't take that as a hint to just stop messing with him. It's a little dark. Hold on. Let me see if I should move this. I didn't take that as a hint. This is a little better. There. Okay. That's better. It was getting dark over there. I didn't take that as a hint. I would take stuff like that as a challenge. No. Challenge yourself to move on. That's the challenge. But after that, we just kept kicking it. And I started to kind of be known as like the girl that was messing with him, but that was dumb because he was still he wasn't messing with other people, but he would like flirt with other people. Or I don't know, at that time he could have been messing with other people. I just never found out about it. Well, I can't remember. This was a long time ago. But anyway, just getting like kind of not that great of a, not reputation, but just like, because I wasn't known, but like, I don't know how to describe it. But my friends will be like, girl, like, why are you talking to him? Like, you're dumb. Like, But I was just like, but I love him. Just dumb. So that year goes by. My freshman year goes by. We were basically hanging out the whole year. And that was also when I flunked out and ended up going back home. I'll share about that story next Monday when I talk about I survived college as a first generation student. We'll talk about how I actually flunked out my freshman year. So yeah, I ended up coming back home to Cleveland. And I think we actually had stopped talking towards the end of the year because I was just tired of like not moving forward. Like I said, I'm a relationship type of girl, so doing the whole friends with benefits thing, and no, I was not walking with the Lord at this time, so I was, being wild. So doing the whole friends with benefits thing really wasn't like me. I didn't really like it in my core. So I think I had stopped talking to him. I can't remember. But either by the summer or the fall of the next year when I was back home in Cleveland, I think it was by the fall, we were talking again. And so I had, he lived, okay. I'm trying to get my timeline straight. I can't remember. I think by the fall we were talking again. When did he graduate? He might have graduated in the fall of when I wasn't there. Because I know I had, yeah. Okay, here we go. There he is. There we are. So the summer, I think we stopped talking. And then by the fall, and are y'all listening to this? Let me know. Send some comments, some hearts. I see people in here, but I don't see any comments. Maybe that means y'all are involved in this story. But yeah, so we stopped talking in the summer. By the fall, we were talking again. He graduated in the fall. By January, because I remember when I went to visit him in Pennsylvania because he was home. He lived in Pennsylvania. So I went to go visit him in Pennsylvania in January because it was cold and it was like Martin Luther King weekend. We had a break. So by January, I was visiting him in his hometown. So it was kind of like we were progressing. And I feel like he had came to Cleveland one time. I can't remember. But we were dating, whatever, but trying to, I guess, move to be a little bit more exclusive this time around. And then I find out that he got another girl pregnant. The girl got pregnant, I believe, in the summer when we were not talking. I believe it was the summer. And y'all, I've never told this story to anybody else except for my old guy best friend. Yeah, I've never told this story because my college friends, they were around, they witnessed it, but I've never like literally told this story because it was just so embarrassing. This whole period was so embarrassing. But I'm not embarrassed anymore. Oh yeah, my sister knows. Yeah. So in the winter, I'm pretty sure I found out he had another girl pregnant. Now, I was about to say something crazy, but look at the Holy Spirit. What made it worse was the girl that he got pregnant it was just a shocker. It was very much so a shocker. And you know what? I found out he had 2 girls pregnant. Oh my God, I just remember that. I found out he had 2 girls pregnant, but one of them terminated the pregnancy. And so, yeah, it was terrible, y'all. Cute. Like, we right here in the middle, kind of. Basically, I was dating a guy in college, my freshman year of college. And we're like on and off, basically. And I'm at the point where I'm finding out that he got a girl pregnant. So he had 2 girls pregnant. One terminated the pregnancy. The other one went through with the pregnancy. The one that went through with the pregnancy, it was probably one of the worst people could have got pregnant. I'm gonna be careful with my words because you never know who watched it, so I'm gonna just probably leave it right there. It just was it made it worse when I found out who in the situation. So when I found out, first I was like, no, I'm not gonna stay. I never was the type that wanted to date a man with kids, and I did not marry a man with kids. But I just never wanted to date a man with kids. But my feelings were so invested in this man, I eventually decided to, get with him, stay with him. I was like, it was during a time when we weren't together, all this and that, trying to rationalize it. My family hated him. My friends didn't want to hear me speak his name anymore. I only could talk to one friend about it, and it was my guy best friend who I had at that time. He was the only person that would listen to my sob stories because I was the girl that was like, next time, I'm not going to go back, and I just kept going back. So when I found out the girl was pregnant, she might have been like 4 or 5 months. Yeah. So by the time that she was about to deliver, we were still talking. So, yeah, I was devastated. I was devastated, but I stayed. So fast forward to the time where she's about to get pregnant. I'm thinking, like, we can do this, like, we can be serious. He's gonna have a child, but that's okay. He doesn't like this girl at all. He doesn't like this girl at all. Like, he never wanted to be with her, all this stuff. I'm like, I could just chalk it up and be not a stepmom, but you know. I remember the day that she was supposed to give birth, that she gave birth, or it might be the day after, the day that she gave birth. How did I see that baby picture? I don't know. Somebody sent it to me. He sent it to me, but I don't know how I got the baby picture. When I tell y'all, that baby looked just like him, to the point where I started crying. Like, I bust out crying because the baby looked just like him. And that was when I realized I couldn't do it, because if I wanted to have children, I don't even know if I was thinking about having children then, but if I wanted to have children, he already had children with somebody else. This boy, the child was a boy, looks just like him. So it's like an extra layer of like just annoyance, because it's his son, looks just like him. You just have to deal with that for the rest of your life. And I was just like, I can't do it. I can't do it. So I ended up ending the relationship. Don't know how, don't know when, I don't know what happened. I just know, I don't even know if I called him and told him. I don't actually even know. I think I told him, like, go raise your family or something like that. I don't know. I don't know what I did. But, yeah, he was the worst. He was actually not the worst. The worst we'll get to in the next story. But he wasn't the worst. He was second worst. No, it was one in high school, Robert. He was trash. Those were the three worst. But yeah, I don't even know what he's, we gonna leave that there. So yeah, I ended up ending that relationship with him, and that really taught me, like, to one, never accept friends with benefits again. It taught me, like, if you want a relationship, get with men that want relationships. I think I told him, go raise your family, girl. I think I said something like, just go be over there. They need you. You got an infant. I think I said, go raise your child. Are you using code names, Cheyenne? Because I don't remember code names. My memory's terrible. You could say their actual names. They don't follow me. Whoever you talk, well, one does, but the rest don't. I don't remember who these code names were. We used to use code names a lot. Me, my friends, and my family used to use code names for guys. I don't remember them because it was like 10 years ago. So yeah, that was when I was 17. That was like a real life heartbreak, because of the fact that he had another child. Oh yeah, that's the next story. He was the worst. It made it real for me because he had a child. I had never dealt with people that had children. None of my friends had children, so it just wasn't a thing. And so that one, like, hurt me to the core. I was single for a little while after that one. I was single, actually, for a while after that. So, yes, let me move along to the second story of one of my worst heartbreaks. So, the second one's a little bit sadder. Sorry to kind of bring down the mood a little bit. And it is actually Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Wow. So this story kind of fits, not kind of, it does fit in perfectly. So, second heartbreak, I was in college. I was a junior. I was a junior in college. I met a guy. This will be helpful for ladies who are single in here to pay attention to red flags and warning signs. So, met a guy in my junior year of college. We were both looking to become, this is when I was back home. I was doing good. I was on the right track. I was graduating the next year. I was single. I wasn't any man drama for the most part. I was working. I had did I buy my car yet? Can't remember, but I know I had a car somewhere around this time. But I had really put my life back on track from the last heartbreak and coming back home and starting over for school. So I was looking to get involved in college, and I decided to become a part of the Black Student Union. And they had a opening for president and vice president. So I decided to run for vice president, and there was a guy who ran for president. So we became co-counsel. I don't even know if that's the right word, but co-counsel. And so one day, we met at BSU, a BSU meeting or something like that. And we ran for a campaign. We both won. So I think it was like the night we both won or the next day we both won. We decided to go get lunch to talk about our plans. And I put that in quotation marks because we didn't even talk about any plans. For some reason, it turned into a date. So that's kind of red flag number one. Like, we mixed business and pleasure way too soon. Like, it just moved too fast. The whole relationship moved too fast. But it was weird because we were supposed to be professional. But then, like, our first meeting was a date, and he told me he liked me, all that stuff. So, you know, at that time, like I said, I hadn't dated anybody. And he was very charming. He was extroverted. He was attractive. He wanted to be involved in the student body. You know, he was very intelligent. We were pretty similar in personality and like likes and dislikes regards. So I was attracted to him. I hadn't met, you know, guys that appeared like him since I had been back home at school. So we started dating very fast, and we were president and vice president of the Black Student Union. So it was a little weird. So yeah, so we started dating, and we were doing BSU. We started dating, okay, let me give a timeline. I believe we became president and vice president in May. We started dating in May. We were broken up by December. So 6 months. I believe that's 6 months. So over the summer, yeah, we started dating, hung out all throughout the summer. And even in that August before school started, we took a trip to Chicago together, you know, slept in the same room. I had never done that with a guy before, taking a trip with him and slept in the same room, all those things. And so little red flags started popping up. And trigger warning, this story does contain emotional and semi-physical abuse. So just so you know, with this story, I should have gave a trigger warning before, but I'll give it now. Trigger warning, trigger warning. If you are, you know, sensitive to stuff like that, you know, you may have to exit off this live and come back or whatever. So I started noticing little things that were red flags. So I noticed that he didn't really want me talking to any other guys, especially when he was not around. So he thought every single guy in the whole Black Student Union liked me. He thought every guy liked me. Every guy wanted to get with me. I wanted to get with them. So little things like that. He didn't really want me talking to other guys. When I would mention plans of moving to another city after graduation, which was that fall, he would, no, it wasn't that fall. It was the next fall. So it was a year later, a year from then. He would say things like, oh, you're just trying to leave me. You're just trying to go and be in another city and find somebody else. So just little things like that, like being very insecure and trying to be controlling and possessive. So I also noticed that he was very, very emotional and had highs and lows. So he would get super upset and get super emotional, and I would have to calm him down, or he would get super sad, super depressed. He had a lot of family issues going on. He had mom issues, dad issues. It was just a lot of drama a lot of the time, where I would be the one like reassuring him, calming him down, making sure he's okay, all this stuff. Yeah. Also, I turned 21 that year, and I turned 21 that year, and my family, they like got me a dinner, invited all my friends, just did a whole bunch of stuff for me, and he didn't come. He didn't come to my 21st birthday activities because, what was his reasoning? Either because he didn't have money and he didn't want to look like he didn't have something insecure. I really believe he was jealous of any attention that I got. He was very jealous. Anytime I got attention, he would try to steal the spotlight from me, all those types of things. I remember we went to a Christmas event, this is what led to us to breaking up, or it didn't lead to us breaking up, but it kind of did, whatever. But we had a Christmas event where I was doing African drumming, because I used to do African drumming, and he rode with my family. We invited him, all that stuff, and it was a gymnasium. He sat in the way back of the gymnasium where, like, he wasn't talking to anybody. It was just very giving, you can't be happy for me. And so that was consistent behavior, very consistent behavior. My family noticed it, and my mom noticed it, and they would say things, and I was like, no, he's just, had a lot of family issues. He's a sweet guy, which he was. Was he nonchalant? No, he wasn't nonchalant. He was very emotional. He always had a response. His response was always emotion filled. So he was not nonchalant. Yeah. And so, I remember my mom would be like, just be careful. Don't always be up under him. Don't always go to his defense or his aid. Have your separate own life too. But I didn't listen. I thought I was in love. I was just infatuated at that point. And so in October was the really glaring red flag. And that's crazy. It was during October. Wow. Okay. Anyway, October was a huge red flag that showed me that we shouldn't be together. And so we would get into arguments a lot, mostly about other guys. And I remember I was in his dorm room. I was in his dorm room one day, and we were talking about something, and I was talking about getting him a gift or something, and he mentioned me wanting to do something for another guy or something like that. It involved another guy who I had never thought of romantically. We never did anything. It was never that type of situation. But he swore it was. He was super upset, just super upset. And I was like, you know what? It's time for me to leave, because this arguing, it just is not giving. So I remember I was about to walk out the door to leave. Oh, excuse me. And he grabbed me and kind of like pushed me on the desk. And when I looked back at him and looked in his eyes, it was like a totally different person. It was very dark. It was very like angry. And I was like, I got to get out of here. So I'm like, so for his dorm, the way to get out when you're a guest, you only can get in and get out with someone walking you in and out. Like they have to for the elevator, they have to put their ID card up to the elevator and stuff like that, and they have to sign you out. So you can't walk around the dorms without someone that lives there. And so, excuse me. So I was like, I gotta go. So he didn't want me to go. I walked out the dorm room. We ended up in the emergency hallway, not the emergency hallway, the stairway. And so, it's like the fireproof door, and they have like a little piece of glass that you can see in and see out. That's fireproof as well. So I kept saying, I want to go, I want to leave. Like I gotta go. And I was leaving to get on the elevator to go, and to try and stop me, he punched his hand through the thick glass window on that door. And, it was blood everywhere, all this stuff. And then I was able to leave. I had to call the police, call the police, no, did I call him? No, I think he did. I don't remember, but police got called somehow, emergency ambulances somehow. And they took him away. I went home. I was just so distraught. So it turned out he actually cut his hand all the way down to the white meat. It was just really bad. And so after that incident, I told my mom, told my mentors, all that stuff. And they were like, you need to kind of just stay away from him. But did I stay away? No. I did not. He called me. He was just like, I'm so sorry, all this stuff. And I went right over to his parents' house where he was living. When, my mom had told me don't go over there, but I snuck over there, went over there. And, he was like, I'm so sorry, giving all the excuses. And I believed it, and I stayed. And that was in October. We ended up breaking up in December. So what happened between October and December? After that incident, I started to pray to God and say, God, if this is not the relationship you want me in, please remove it. Like, I didn't even pray that much, but I knew I said that prayer. I said, God, like, if this is not the relationship you want me in, please remove it. Like, show me ways, show me signs. Like, even though that was a huge sign, I still needed more for whatever reason, like we tend to do. I think between October and December, little things just kept happening. And then in December, when the gymnasium event happened, I really just saw that he was just unable to be happy for me and actually celebrate me, value me, all those things. And so, and he would always accuse me of being with other guys, all these things. And so at that event, we actually broke up that night. We broke up that night. It was around New Year's or something like that. It was between Christmas and New Year's, something like that. We broke up that night for a little bit, like a couple of days or something. I think we tried to get back together, but then the crazy thing happened. I had a dream that he was cheating on me. And I woke up the next day, and this is God, I don't care what nobody say. I woke up the next day, went on his Instagram page, or went on the girl's Instagram page that I thought he was cheating on me with, because this was an ex-girlfriend that had came up before. And so I had went on her Instagram page, and back then on Instagram, people used to put in their bio like a heart and a key in their person's name to signify that they was dating them. It's kind of like how we do put a ring and put like wife or something like that. So I had the dream that he was cheating on me with her, woke up, went on Instagram the next day, saw that on her page, and I was like, oh, God just gave me this dream. Like, he's cheating on me. And so I asked him. He, of course, said no, but I just couldn't shake the feel. Or no. I asked him, and he said she was just playing or something sketchy. Something. And so, yeah, it was something sketchy. And I was so desperate at that time because I had gone through emotional and verbal abuse with him. He had already like worn me down mentally to just want him, to be desperate for him, to try to win him back. And so I tried that all the way up until Valentine's Day. And we were going back and forth, seeing if we were going to be together. And Valentine's Day, I was like, my parents were out of town. I was like, hey, come over. I want to cook you something. And he said he was going to come, but he ended up standing me up. And I think he went out with somebody else. And when I called him to say, hey, are you coming or the next day or something like that, he cussed me flat out, like called me out my name, everything, and did not care. And I said, you know what? No. You can't call me out my name. Like, that's not happening. So I just decided to move on from that day. I think I like blocked him on Instagram and just decided to move on. I decided to stop dating him. I said, you can't beg for crumbs. You're begging for crumbs from this man that doesn't even respect you enough to not call you out your name. So yeah. I just told the story about Carlton. I guess I could say his name, but Carlton, yeah. So I decided to be done with him after he called me out my name. I said, nope, you're worth way more than that. Like, you don't deserve a man to talk to you like that. And to be, possibly cheating on you, all those things. It just didn't deserve that. So we stopped talking that day, and I decided to get back in church. And that's when I really decided to walk with God, really give my life to God. That was in 2015. Yeah, 2015. And so that's when I started blogging. No, that's not when I started blogging. I started blogging in 2016. That's when I started really walking with God, getting back into community, getting back into church, serving, all those things. And since that breakup, I hadn't dated anybody until I met my husband in 2017. So I was completely, like, when I say single, I was single. My line was dry. I wasn't going on dates. I wasn't texting. I wasn't talking. I was dry. No, I was dry. My line was dry. My line was dry. I was not talking to anybody. And, this goes into like the kind of tips and encouragement that I want to give single women who have experienced heartbreak, who have gone through things with guys and just want to be done. Or if you've never experienced heartbreak, good luck and praise God for you, and to not experience heartbreak. Some of the things that I learned was to really value myself, to really know that I was worth more than the treatment that I was receiving from men, that I had received from men for so long. After that breakup, I just decided that I was better than that, and I didn't want to ever be in a situation with a man to treat me less than what I deserve. From being physically handled, to being called out my name, to not being worth pursuing, to be a friends with benefit. Like, I just knew I was worth way more than that. And from that moment on, I decided to start viewing myself and treating myself in that way. And what did that look like? That looked like, I got a little bit of notes. Like I said, valuing me, being with men who have shared values as well. So I started, when I would start dating, or people would approach me, if they didn't have the same values that I had, whether it be God, whether it be how to treat a woman, whether it be wanting a serious, committed, monogamous relationship, whether it be not calling me out my name, not cursing, not doing all those things, I looked for men who had those values. And if you did not have those values, I would not pursue anything you were talking about. I stopped giving men multiple chances. I just stopped. After the first time you showed me that who you are, whether good or bad, just didn't rock with me, I stopped. One of the things that, if you listen to this whole live, you see that I kept going back to certain behaviors. And after the last relationship I was in, I decided to stop giving men second chances. If he doesn't want to talk to you the first time, or if he doesn't want to make time for you, if he doesn't want to pursue you, if he doesn't want to be in a relationship only with you, monogamous, don't talk to him. If he doesn't want to respect you, don't talk to him. I started eliminating men with bad behavior. Like, it just wasn't, you weren't going to be able to call me and then not call me and then call me. No, you weren't going to say, hey, I don't want a relationship, but we can still be cool. We can still hang out. No. Click. I don't want to take you on a date. Click. Like, I just stopped. I stopped accepting bad behavior from men. What else? I stopped accepting men who didn't have jobs and work ethic. None of the guys I seriously dated didn't have a job, but there were guys who tried to talk to me who didn't have a job, didn't really have a vision for their life, didn't really have goals. Like, they just were there. I knew that I had a vision for my life. I knew I had goals to whatever extent that I was. So if you didn't have a job, if you didn't work in school, if you didn't have a vision for your life, I couldn't date you. I didn't entertain it. I didn't string it along. No, we can't talk. Yeah. Also, if a guy, I'm looking at my notes over here. I'll look right here. If a guy acted fishy or funny the first time, let him go. If he had drama, let him go. So if he got an ex-girlfriend that he may be messing with, but they just stopped talking to each other last week, but no, they didn't do it. No, I needed you to be clean, free, no drama. Stop messing with guys that have drama of any kind. Stop. If he say he was talking to a girl last week and he just cut her off, no. If he say I'm gonna cut her off when I figure out what's going on with us, no. I just got out of a relationship 2 days ago, no. I'm still trying to figure it out, no. If it wasn't I like you or I want to see where things go with you, then we didn't have conversation. We didn't talk. There was no entertaining. And I think that's what gets a lot of us in trouble, because we like to believe what we want to believe instead of looking at the actions of a man. He can say, all the things he wants to say, but if his action is not following, or if the action that he is showing you is not aligning with your values, No more second chances. Yeah. So I think those shifts and changes in my thought process and my behavior really helped me to have clear vision on the type of man that I wanted, or the type of lifestyle I wanted to live, and things of that nature. And that's why I always ask women when they have relationship questions or things like that. I always ask them, like, what do you want? What are you not willing to compromise on, values wise, lifestyle wise? You know, what do you want? What type of woman do you see yourself being in the next 2 to 3, 5, 10 years? And what type of man do you need to be with that aligns with that future? So, for instance, if you know if you want to be a corporate professional, I don't know, if you want to be a corporate professional, or if you want to open up your own business, you should not be dating men that don't have jobs, that don't have a job. Well, nobody should be dating a man that doesn't have a job unless they don't have a job. But anyway, don't have a job, don't really have a future for themselves, are doing illegal things, like job wise. I mean, I think you can read between the lines what I mean by that. Men who work part-time here, part-time there, like, no. If you know that you want to have a stable man for your family to be able to support you and provide all those things, that's the type of man you have to either wait on or let in, give time to. Those other guys, don't let them pass by. Don't give them the time of day. Don't give them the time of day. I think also the other biggest thing is men that treat you the way you want to be treated the first time. If a man is not saying, hey, let's go out on a date, I want to get to know you better, don't waste your time with him. If you have to ask him to take you on a date, no. If you have to ask him, hey, when am I going to be your girlfriend? Or like, hey, when we going to be exclusive? No. I really truly believe that men who really want to be married, who want to be with one woman, who want to settle down, who want to be in a relationship, want to have a future, they don't play around the first time, because they know how valuable you are, and they know that if they let you slide by, someone else is going to pick you up. Not pick you up, but you know what I'm saying. Grab you, get a hold of you, and you're going to be an asset to their life and not the guy that likes you. So most men who are serious about being married and having a healthy relationship, they recognize good women and they scoop those women up for the most part, because they recognize their value. And this does not mean if you have not been scooped up that you don't have value. That's not true. I'm not saying that. I'm saying to leave the guys alone that don't try and scoop you up. That's what I'm saying. Leave the guys alone that are not trying to take you off the market, that are not trying to move forward and have a future with you. Leave those guys alone, because they're time wasters, and that's how you get heartbreaks. So, share my story, share some tips, share ways that I changed my mindset, my behavior. Last thing I'll say, my Instagram story that my reel that I posted earlier today about waiting on God and trusting him, knowing that he has what you desire. I had to get to a place where I was trusting God with my relationship status, because like I said, I had been single for 2 years, like completely single for 2 whole years. And I was like, what's going on? My God, like nobody is approaching me, and the guys that are approaching me, the 1 or 2 guys that are approaching me, they aren't really, your standard and my standard. So what is going on, God? Like, why is nobody trying to talk to me? And I shared how on a cruise, I really had an emotional breakdown and was crying, asking God, like, hey, what's going on? Like, where the guys at? And he was like, I'm hiding you on purpose. Like, And in that moment, I knew that God had a plan for me. I think a lot of times we forget that God actually has a plan for us. We are so worried about getting things done in our timing that we forget that God has a plan, and 9 times out of 10 it's better than the plan that we have, and it's better than the timeline that we predicted, all of these things. So when God told me that he is hiding me for a specific reason, I decided to trust him, not knowing when a guy would come, not knowing what would happen from it. And a month later, I met my husband. Now, I know a lot of people say that story and they make it seem like, you know, they waited and then they were obedient and then God blessed them. I don't know if my obedience had anything to do with my husband coming in the time that he did. I think my husband needed to come in the time that he did to really help me to grow and develop into the woman that I am now. That's a whole nother story about marriage. But I do know that I was obedient to God, decided to trust him with my relationship status, become okay with it. I chopped all my hair off. I said I'm about to just go all in. I plan to move to Chicago, all these things. And then I met my husband. So I also had short hair, so maybe some of y'all need to cut y'all hair off. I'm just playing. Yeah, so I say all that to say, trust, if you are single and you are like wondering like what's going to happen with your relationship status, all these things, I really just encourage you to trust God. Whatever he's telling you right now, trust in what he's telling you. I don't know what he's telling you. I don't like when people tell people it's your single season or God is bringing your spouse. I don't know. I'm not God. I don't even like to play like that because people take that very seriously. But whatever God is telling you about your singleness right now, trust him and believe him, because his plan that he has laid out, mapped out for you is 100 times better than what you're planning on doing and what you want and your desires. And trust that he also will meet your desires with not only what you want but what you need. And I'm not going to preach on that because that's a marriage talk, and that can go a whole nother 30 minutes to an hour on getting and desiring what you need instead of what you just always physically or aesthetically or what you think you want. God is going to provide you with someone that you need if you wait on him and you allow him to do the choosing and not you choosing men or, you know, choosing partners and men out of desperation, which I did in my stories that you can go back and watch if you have not heard them that I shared earlier on this live. So yes, those are the stories of my 2 biggest heartbreaks and how I recovered from them. I actually had not PTSD. With my abusive relationship, I had what was it? I definitely had anxiety. It wasn't PTSD. I definitely had anxiety because I was nervous to see him in person after we had broke up. Yeah, I think it was anxiety. Because like he hung out in the student center a lot. He lived on campus, so he hung out on campus more than I did. And I would see him a lot when we were dating, and I knew his behavior patterns, so I knew he would be around. And it would be a chance I would run into him, but I was just so not ready. And I don't know if it was God, but I did not see that man until like graduation day. We broke up, so that was 11 months. I didn't see him from January until December when we graduated. And I still have not had a conversation. We didn't even like see each other. I think I just saw him at graduation. But I think that was God. I don't know if it was God, but I'm thanking God for it because I did not have the capacity to ever run into him. I was just very torn up from that relationship and the things that happened in that relationship, the verbal and emotional abuse, that I was just like, I was in no way, shape, or form ready to actually see him. So I had to take time to really heal from those things, really learn how I could do better, really take time to figure out who I was, what I wanted, what I would accept and not accept. And that was when I got back in church, and I really just kind of like focused on me and took it easy after that relationship. So yeah, that is all. I don't know if anybody had any questions or comments. I don't even know who's still here. People have been in and out. But yeah, if you are still here, you have any questions or comments before I jump off of here, let me know. I just wanted to share those stories because I thought that they would be helpful. I never shared about that other I've talked about my emotional relationship, the relationship I just talked about. I've shared that in a blog before, and I think I share that about once a year during Domestic Violence Awareness Month. But that other first relationship that I was telling y'all about, or situationship, I had not shared that, and so it was kind of funny reliving that because it was so silly. And the guy was really a nice guy. I think it was mostly me. I know it was mostly me because he told me what it was up front, and I mean he did allow me to stay along, but it was mostly me not being mature and saying, okay, if you don't run a relationship, I won't mess with you, instead of trying to be manipulative and try to force him to change. I should have just left him alone. And none of that would have happened with me. It wouldn't have even been a heartbreak. It would have just been, oh, okay. But, so yeah, he was a really nice guy. He's a really nice guy. You know, I hated him for a long time, but I've grown and matured and realized that it was really me. So yeah, he's a nice guy. But yeah, so I don't see any questions or comments, so I'm gonna log off. Make sure y'all join me next Monday. We will be here for our third installment of this series. If I keep getting like good feedback, I might even add a fourth series on another topic. I don't know what I would talk about in the fourth one, but anyway, join me here next week. We're going to be talking about how I survived as a first-generation college student. I know a lot of us are first-gen and can relate to the struggles of going to college and not having someone to kind of guide you through it. So I'm just going to share my story, how I survived, and ended up going back and getting a master's degree. Crazy, right? I'm going to share how I survived. I'm going to share how I also feel about being a first-generation college student, being a first-generation master's, like first one in my family to have a master's degree. Like, I get emotional talking about that. So we'll talk about that next week. Make sure you join me same time, same place at 7 p.m. I hope you all have a very good evening, and I'll see you later. Bye.